Believe it or not, Ohio is ground zero this year. You know that, right? You know that. I got to tell you, though, about a decade ago, Al Gore, and all you remember him, right? A truly great American. Where is he when we need him right now? Al Gore and his radical environmental friends, they came up with a plan that would enact their global warming agenda, their most fond dream, to change the way you and I live our lives. And you know about cap and trade, right? Keith just talked about it. Rebecca's talked about it. They came up with a plan that would do three central things because they want to change how you live in order to enact their nutty global warming agenda. Number one, they want you to drive less. Is this echoing a little bit, the microphone? Let's crank it down just a little bit. You can hear it? They want you to drive less. So what do? Their cap and trade plan specifically increases gasoline prices at the pump. Somewhere between 50 and 75% more when you go to fill your gasoline up, whether it's to go to work, to take your kids to Little League, to go to church or synagogue, 50 to 70% more for the gasoline, all because they want you out of cars and trucks. Number two, they want to change the way you live your lives in your homes and workplaces. So what do? They form legislation, and Obama actually said this to his credit, that will necessarily skyrocket electricity rates. Do you remember that? Remember when the president said that? Necessarily skyrocket electricity rates. What does that mean for you and your small business or your manufacturing concern or your home during these cold Ohio winters? It means utility bills through the roof. And by the way, they always like to talk about, let's stick it to the rich and let's take care of the working guy. You hear that occasionally? I bet you I hear it from some guys across the parking lot. When you jack up utility rates and when you jack up gasoline prices at the pump, who does that hurt the most? The rich guy in Manhattan? No. It hurts you, it hurts me, it hurts folks struggling to make a living. And yet Al Gore, with Speaker Nancy Pelosi firmly in tow, came to Zach's space right here in this district, a coal district, a district struggling with high unemployment, struggling with folks to make ends meet, and they said, Zach, buddy, we need you to take one for the team. We need you to support this cap and trade thing. And you know what he did? He snapped to attention and said, absolutely, and he voted for legislation that will kill jobs right here in this district, drive up utility bills, drive up gasoline prices, and then he wants to run TV ads saying he'll stand up to Nancy Pelosi. Are you kidding me? Look, if my congressman had this record of wanting to jack up utility bills and gas prices and kill jobs in Ohio, I would stand out in the street and scream too to try to take people away from that. And that's what the next 26 days are about. It's about making sure that every citizen in this district knows exactly how he voted. It's not about name calling. It's not about a political party. It's not about any of that. It's about simply making sure that folks know that when it came down to going with Al Gore and Nancy Pelosi to drive up gas prices, utility bills, and kill jobs right here, sadly, this congressman stood with them instead of working folks right here in this district. And let's make sure, secondly, they know about that stimulus bill. And Rebecca mentioned it a minute ago. We're going to run this fiscal year the biggest deficit in modern American history, $1.4 trillion. And that money is not taking into account the stimulus bill. Think about that. The $800 billion plus for the stimulus bill, that's not included in the deficit because they took the stimulus bill off budget. And you heard about the boondoggles it pays for. It's nothing but a payoff to their political buddies and friends. That's all that stimulus bill was. But when he had the chance to say no to more spending, no to more government, no to this stimulus bill, sadly, your congressman stood with Nancy Pelosi and said yes to $800 billion more in spending. And so what we're asking you to do through the phone program that Rebecca mentioned earlier, through the door-to-door efforts, is simply take that message to your neighbors and friends and folks in your community. Will you do that? Yeah. Will you absolutely make sure they know that? Because it's an important year. You know, opportunity is a fragile thing. The older I get, the more I realize just how few times in life you have an opportunity to make a big, big difference. I'm 46, and I'm telling you, in my lifetime, I don't think I'll ever have another opportunity like these next 26 days to make a difference for our country, to change the direction that we're going right now. This is an opportunity that you and I may never happen again. And I hope we seize it. I hope we double down our efforts to take our nation in a different direction. Because when you look at what's at stake this year, and when you look at the American people, what they're doing, they're responding to us. Have you noticed that? They're coming our way on the issues. You know, the left is making all the same tired attacks we've seen for decades from those guys. They're old, they're tired, they're yesterday's news. It's not changing the fact that the American people are with us. Let me give you one number. Actually, I want to give you a couple of numbers. The first one, though, brand new poll came out 2 days ago from a guy named Mark Penn, who's a big Democrat pollster in Washington. It appeared in the Hill newspaper. They asked voters in swing districts, just like this one, the 18th District of Ohio, where they stood on the Obama-Pelosi health care legislation. 56% of Americans in that poll said, we don't just oppose it, we want to repeal it. Think about that, 56%. And 1 in 4 Democrats want to repeal it. 1 in 4 Democrats want to repeal it. That's amazing. You think we're not winning with the American people? You bet we are. Speaker Nancy Pelosi started off with poll numbers through the roof. And now these members of Congress are scurrying like mice away when the lights come on if she shows up within 100 miles of them. They know that her agenda is being rejected by the people back home. It's an agenda of bigger government, more spending, more taxation, and in the end, it kills jobs and kills prosperity and kills opportunity here. And we know that, and the good news and what we can take heart is our fellow Americans know it. In every election since the 2008 election, you know what's happened, right? The voters have come with folks who are for free markets and conservatism and bringing America in a different direction. Every poll shows it. I know when you talk to neighbors and friends, they say the same thing. So let the left do the usual chanting and jeering and vicious, bitter attacks. That's all they've got left. We've got the future left for us. We've got a different direction for our nation left for us. We've got a nation to fix, and we're going to do it. And we can do it in the next 26 days. And I'll close with this. I mentioned it earlier, and I mean this with all my heart. It's not about any one political party, and it's not about one election or 1 year. Because here's the commitment we make to you and Americans for Prosperity. Next January, the same way we fought the healthcare battle, the same way we fought cap and trade over the last 3 years, 2 years, next January, we're going to go to Capitol Hill. And no matter who wins this election, no matter which party wins it, whether it's Speaker Pelosi, although I don't think she's going to have the gavel, or a Republican from the other side. And we're going to demand, first and foremost, a vote up or down to repeal Obama-Pelosi health care. That's the first vote we're going to require. Because we've had enough of these politicians who vote for it before they voted against it, which is what your congressman did. Early on, when it was politically popular and he put his finger up and he thought the unions and his buddies were going to be for it, he voted for it. And then at the end, what did he do? He did what a lot of politicians do. He put on the tennis shoes and ran for the tall grass and voted against it. Well, next year, we're going to demand an up or down vote on repealing it. And if that fails, you know what we're going to do? Spending bills originate in the House of Representatives, right? Correct. We're going to go into the House and we're going to demand individual votes on defunding Obama-Pelosi care piece by piece. So those thousands of new IRS agents they want to hire to enforce the mandate to scurry around looking at your tax records, all those IRS agents they want to hire at our expense, we're going to demand a vote to kill the funding to pay those new bureaucrats. That's what we're going to do. So that's the commitment. It is a long-term battle we're in, but I know you're going to stand with it. I'm a big football fan. Dan Marino was a quarterback from the University of Pittsburgh. Remember Dan Marino? He came into the league out of the University of Pittsburgh with the Miami Dolphins. And in his first season, he led the Miami Dolphins to the Super Bowl as a rookie quarterback. That doesn't happen a whole lot. He lost that year, and he didn't play that well. He played okay, but not great. And all the pundits said, well, gosh, he's only 23. He's only a rookie. He's going to be in the Super Bowl 4 or 5 more times. He's going to have plenty of opportunities to fix what happened in the first Super Bowl. Dan Marino played another 15 years at least. He set just about every record you could set in the NFL for a quarterback. But Dan Marino never went back to the Super Bowl. Never. His only opportunity to win the ultimate game was his rookie year when he was 23 years old. Now look, we got folks here from 2 years old, and I won't say the high age on some of you guys, but we got folks that are pretty, 94 right here. 94, congratulations, sir. 94 years old. From 2 to 94. And I'm telling you, I've said it, but I'll say it one more time. We may never have an opportunity like this, like right now. Let's seize it. Let's go out and make sure we do everything we can. Let's leave it on the field. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you guys so much. We are actually done with the speaking portion, but it's time to get to work. Please come sign up for our phone banking system. Please sign up for the door hangers. I'm going to be over there, and I'll explain the door hangers to you individually. And we also have some pizza over there. You know, we've been telling Zach's Face for a long time, if you vote for these big government policies, we are going to remember in November. You know what? November's coming, and it's about time.
Yeah.